Hey y'all, it is Becca here at BeccasByTheBay Homestead. I'm gonna hang out and do a little chit chat today while I'm working in my kitchen. Not so much a tutorial video today, just kind of a prepping non-essentials chit chat. Maybe hang out and get your notepad and pen and paper handy. Kind of like a mental reminder for myself as well with all the food shortages and everything that's happening around the world right now, and we're all trying to stock our pantries the best that we can and do what we can with what we can. My last video was on pet food shortages that was happening and some of the things that you can do. Just real quick, this is the 6 pounds of chicken, and I'm going to correct it. It was $1.99 per pound, so about $12 or so, or just under $12. I got 6 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. I sliced it real thin. I had rinsed it really good and cubed it up and dehydrated it at 160 degrees for at least an hour. Dropped the temperature down to about 145 and just finished it off till it was crispy. If it's still kind of bendy, it's not dry enough for longer term storage, so you want to keep dehydrating it until it's fully crunchy, crispy. And then I just stored it in my clean half gallon mason jar with an oxygen absorber. And our chicken livers, we had 2 packages. I don't remember what the weight was, but 2 containers of chicken livers I was able to dehydrate as well, just until crispy again. And then you can store it in a jar or whatever storage container that you have with an oxygen absorber or Mylar bag. I did this. Carrots. So today, because I didn't get it done yesterday, the heat really got to me. Super hot here in South Texas yesterday, so I'm blanching my carrots, and then I'm going to dehydrate them. I'm going to blanch them for a few minutes, about 3 to 5 minutes, put them in some cold water, and I will dehydrate these at about 115 degrees until they are dry, and then again I will just stick them in another half-gallon mason jar with an oxygen absorber, and then they'll be ready to use for soups, stews, or for dog food. You can always recook these a little bit and add them to some dog food with some brown rice, chicken and beef livers, things like that. So I try to dehydrate the same things at the same time that they're dehydrating at the same temperature, and then you can just check on the trays, whichever dehydrates first, just take it off and package it up, and then keep going with the next one. The other day we did some we did some nuts. I will buy raw nuts, or even if I get nuts that weren't technically raw, but they were not roasted or anything like that, as far as like they're not salted and roasted, I'll get plain nuts, soak them to remove the tannins for anywhere between 6 to 8 hours or so. Change out the water, rinse them real good, and I did walnuts as well. So I did our walnuts plain because I like those in our oatmeal cookies, or just a good snack to pop. Sometimes walnuts are really good. They help you with those omegas that we need. And pecans are really good. This makes like a great topping for your cereal, oatmeal, or like a trail mix. So with the pecans, I'll soak them, and then I like to add a little bit of iodized sea salt and maple syrup. So yum, yum, yum. So it's like a honey. You could do honey. You could do like a honey maple glazed pecan or whatever kind of. And I'll dehydrate those until they're crispy dry. Add an oxygen absorber, and they are good to go for trail mix, snack bags, whatever. So that's what I got done this week as well. And so we're just working on some rutabagas from the garden. And so I'm going to chit chat about some non-essential items. Somebody did a video, I forget who, but I'm really thankful they did, because, prepping isn't just always about food. Although we need to eat every day, there's other things that we need. one of those was our filters for our AC and air here at the home, and I realized I thought I had more filters than I actually had. I had one left. I needed to be changed, so I changed it out today, and I got online and ordered us I think another 6 of them from filterking.com. We have a really special size filter for our AC unit here at our home. And if I was to pick up one filter locally, last I looked, it was over $50 for one filter. I was able to pick up 6 filters. So I'm excited. I don't even have to leave the house. It'll be shipped right here. There's definitely some good deals online. If you are needing, try and think of the things that your home needs stocking up on that might not necessarily be food. So, I think I don't know if I've touched on. I might do a separate video if I have time, but I just figured I'd hang out and chit chat with you guys a little bit and let you know. Yeah, so think about ways that you need to maybe stock your home and get your family ready for cooking off grid. So the electricity goes down, and you may or may not have natural gas to cook on a stove. So they have the camping stoves from, I think, Coleman, that take the propane and butane and things like that. Those are really handy to have, and still available right now. Last time I looked last night, we actually have a Carolina 2-burner cast iron propane cooker, and we hooked that up to a big propane tank outside, and so we cook with that. We cook our stainless steel cookware and cast iron for that. So that's how we also, if you have the ability to cook on wood and fire, and maybe like a fire pit, or what my husband has done, he has converted a old fire pit that we got and an old barbecue lid, attached it to our rectangular fire pit, and so we use that with a grid, or one of those things, the grate, and we'll cook like hamburgers or steaks or brisket out there. So we do some outdoor off-grid cooking. Depending on availability, you may be able to still purchase a rocket stove, depending on what you're looking for. There's different brands out there. You can make one from cinder blocks. And I'm just going to put this out there as a reminder. Like right now, South Texas, we are super dry, super high winds. And so they put up advisories about not having any kind of outdoor cooking or fires. So, when it's like that, we're not able to do that. So that's why we try to have some ready-made canned up items, like canned meat, or things that I have pressure canned. Some different meals like chili or beef stew. So we have things like that in our pantry. But some other like food items would be, ways of how you're going to be cooking things. Do you have matches? Do you have those clicky fire starters? Do you have a Zippo? Do you have a way to refuel that Zippo? Get some Zippo fuel so you can refuel it. And then another thing is, so, as much as we love doing lots of solar lights and stuff outside, which are great, you can go to the Dollar Tree and grab some solar outdoor lights, and then just bring them in and put them in a little planter in your house and use them as lighting that way if you have a lot of sun and it recharges them real good. We had bought some solar lanterns a year and a half ago off of Amazon. I think they're about $10 each then. I think they're now 20. And they were supposed to be something that you could charge into the wall, or also solar charge with the sun. They didn't last very long. I think after about a year, they just won't recharge for whatever reasons. They weren't made as well as I thought they would. And I'm kind of glad to have found that out now. So that was kind of an unreliable, long-term, grid-down solar lantern. I think actually the Dollar Tree outdoor lanterns actually seem to last the longest that I can tell from. Um, the other thing is if you're scouting out some of your Goodwill stores and things like that, uh, check out the oil lamp section. You know, back in the day when we had hurricanes in New England, where I'm from originally, we uh, we had oil lamps, and I believe the price of oil lamp fuel has gone up if you're ordering it online. There are some places that you can go pick it up locally. Walmart, Academy. Actually, last I picked up some, there was limits. I was only allowed to grab 4. That was enough to fill our oil lamps. I don't really have any extra oil lamp fuel, so I need to probably go back and get some more. So when the lights are out, oil lamps are a good option. If you're worried about fires and you don't want to maybe do candles, you could do candles, but if you're nervous about doing candles, there are those battery operated touch lights. Lowe's, Walmart has them. They're like little circular touch night lights kind of thing. Those are just stick a couple batteries in there, stock up on some extra batteries, and you've got some lights that you can use. Or like when I was a kid, we had each of us kids had a little hand flashlight. So when we were burning our oil lanterns, we'd have one in our living room and in the dining area. And if we wanted to go to our rooms and read a book or something like that under the covers, we'd grab our flashlight or our little kid's lantern and make like a little fort or something and go in there. That was fun. So, just think about non-food essential items that you may or may, need during an emergency, like a hurricane or a blackout or, the EMP situation that may or may not happen. That's something. I don't have a EMT protection shield. I know there's those still available. It's not. It's not something we're getting at the moment. And I know not everyone can afford all the things that you can think that you would like to have during an emergency. But try to think about the basics. How would you cook? How would you reheat? How would you have some lighting? Because I'm always trying to go over my list of things. Did I miss something? I check out other people's videos and I'm like, oh yep, dang, I forgot to get our air filters, so let me go check what we got going on. And yes, I forgot to order them, or they didn't auto ship, so made sure I put that order in. And then there's another channel, real good reminder all the time that whatever you're doing with your daily chores, a lot of people are still homeschooling their children. We're cooking from scratch, and find some downtime, because it can be too stressful to watch the news all the time and stay up to date every day. Take time to sit around the campfire and make some s'mores, or go to the beach, or go to the park, hang out with some friends for an afternoon. So, hubby's always. I know, I do. I worry. Maybe I haven't done enough. Maybe I haven't helped somebody else out with their list, or, blizzard, so I was messaging him and I was like, make sure you're prepared with some extra food on hand and cozy blankets and a way to stay warm and all that. Make sure your vehicle's running good, all those things. And when you do these things regularly, just kind of keeping up with things, it's not something that's so scary that you're like, oh, I gotta do this, or doom and gloom. It's just something that you just prepared for, took care of, and so that when something does happen, an emergency comes up, you're more prepared and you're not so scared, or you're like, I got this, we got food, we got, lighting, we got, clean clothes, or, things like that. Sometimes it's always good to have, I know some people don't always mention it, it's real good to have extra socks and undies, in case for whatever reason you couldn't wash your clothes for a couple weeks because of whatever situation might come up, natural events or something, And it's nice to make sure you have some extra clean underwears and socks. Got some rutabagas to do. So another non-essential item is your laundry detergent. Do you make your laundry detergent from scratch? Do you use that Fells naphtha? Do you use borax? Do you use, baking soda? I actually make ours, and I have a couple of videos on making a solid laundry detergent bar from coconut oil, and I have a liquid laundry detergent made from coconut oil. Super simple and basic if you've already got kind of the supplies on hand to make it. I'm actually restocking ours today because I'm a little low, and I'd like to just have it done and made and not worry about. So it's another chore on my list today that I'm trying to check off my box. So that's all my rutabagas. All our scraps go to chickens in our compost pile there. They're always stirring it. I will actually cook these up a little bit for them. So, I would love to hear from you guys what you're stocking up on that is not a food item that you think would be your next on the list, or maybe towards the bottom of your list of stocking up, besides like batteries, toiletries, laundry detergent, soap, your soap, your hand soaps, your toothpaste, extra socks and undies to have on hand, things like that. Let me know if I missed anything, because I know I tend to forget things all the time, and my mind has so much to do these days that physically and mentally, yesterday I just got overheated from the sun. It was really hot here yesterday, and I ended up just having to lay down and cool off, and hubby took care of the chickens and the animals and the garden, and I just needed that extra helper because I was whooped. It just took the life right out of me. I had to lay down, cool off, and I went to bed early and got some much needed rest. And sometimes that needs to be put on our list too, even though we don't always do that sometimes. Is make sure we get proper rest. So yeah, just kind of a quick one. Some of the other things is seed saving. I've got some sunflower seeds that I winnowed. I winnowed them in the wind today. It was nice and windy, so it was real easy to, as we were working on some other things, I scooped these all into a large bowl and just kind of winnowed them with my hands. So what happens is the the viable seeds will sink to the bottom of your bowl, and all the light, fluffy, whatever extra stuff or bad seeds that are not viable will fly away through the air. And what you'll be left with is some beautiful seeds that you can store up or share. These were some beautiful large sunflower seeds. I'm going to put that in my seed pile. And yeah, so if I missed anything, comment below, let me know. Let me know if there's some non-food essential items that you think are really good to have stocked up on for an emergency, or everything that's going on, whatever, just everyday life situations. So thanks for hanging out with me in my kitchen at Becca's by the Bay, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Sending you lots of love.